It's 2024, so what do I actually carry around every day? EDC or everyday carry is defined differently depending on who you might ask. I don't have a specific way of defining it, so I'm just gonna make 3 episodes. What I actually carry around on me every day, which is the video today. Later, I'm then gonna make a video about what I carry in my backpack for traveling. And last but not least, I'm gonna break down what I carry with me on a photo video shoot, or just like work. But today we're gonna take a look at which tech products I actually carry on my body almost all the time. So let's start. The phone I use as my daily driver now is the iPhone 14 Pro Max with 128 gigabytes of storage. Yes, it's last year's phone, however, I don't feel the need to have the newest phone all the time. Actually, before I switched to this iPhone, I had an iPhone XS, which my sister didn't want anymore because it had gotten a crack on the front screen. I had a totally destroyed iPhone 6 before that, and to make her happy, I asked if I could buy the iPhone XS from her so she could get the new model. So I made her happy and I got a newer phone, and she could then buy the newest phone at the time. So in my opinion, it was a win-win situation. However, last year I got really tired of the iPhone XS because the battery was horrendous. So in January 2023, I finally decided to upgrade to the newest and biggest iPhone model at the time, purely because of the battery. And for only a small amount of money more than the Pro version, you're able to get the Pro Max version, which has 6 hours more battery life. So definitely worth it in my opinion. This is primarily because I've started to use my phone way more for business related stuff like phone calls, FaceTime calls and messaging. So I thought the Pro Max version was the best option for me, which it certainly has been. I don't really use it that often for taking photos or capturing video footage. So looking back, I actually don't know if the Pro version was that necessary for my purpose. The reason I don't use it that often for taking photos or capturing video footage, we'll get into later, so stay tuned. I actually don't really have any preference regarding phones, so in the future I'm definitely gonna try an Android phone at some point for my daily driver. Then again, for daily use, I don't really use that many different features. I mainly use the Reminders app, social media apps like TikTok, Insta and YouTube. Then I use the Mail app a lot and the Notes app and only just a few others. So having all these new fancy features kinda doesn't matter to me. I just need a great battery and a doable phone, and then I'll be set for like the next 5 years or so. Maybe even more. Who knows? The cover I use for my iPhone is a silicone cover with MagSafe in it. I actually don't know if it's one of Apple's own covers. It kinda also doesn't matter. It works. I typically don't use a cover when I'm at home. However, if I go anywhere, I'll throw it on. The only reason I use a cover is actually only because here in Denmark where I live, it's quite cold most of the time, so my hands tend to be quite dry. If I then don't specifically have a silicone cover on my device, then I tend to drop it. Another good thing about having a silicone cover is that because it's a bit sticky, I've never dropped it out of my pockets, which sometimes happens with a large phone simply because the pockets aren't deep enough. But this has never happened with this cover, which is phenomenal. So I'll highly recommend you to get a silicone cover if you have dry hands and a big phone like me. I run around with a power bank in my pockets 9 out of 10 times. This is because since I started my photo video business, I use my phone way more than I used to do just a few years back. I found this 5000 mAh power bank with MagSafe from Anker a while back, and it has been one of the best investments I've made in a long time. The wireless key charging together with MagSafe is, in my opinion, the absolute best thing about it, because it's so easy to just throw on the back of your phone. And no matter which pair of earphones you have, you can just lay them on the MagSafe outline and they'll charge. They won't stick like MagSafe compatible devices, but that kinda doesn't matter in my opinion. The earphones also need to have key wireless charging, but if they have that, then it's an amazing way to charge your earphones on the go, or if you don't have a charging cable near you. Apart from being an amazing charger, then it also comes with a small fold-out pad, which can make it into a stand for your phone. Quite smart. This is also one of the reasons I almost never take it off my phone now, since it's so useful for watching media when eating or seeing any kind of notifications when I'm at my desk. As of right now, I only have this one, but I absolutely need to go ahead and get another one, just so I can charge the first one and the second one can then be in the charger, so I can always have one fully charged and ready for when I need to get out of the office. I'll also just mention that it does work like any other power bank, where you can insert a cable in the USB-C input and charge up your laptop, iPad or whatever you need charged. Anker also makes another version that's with 10,000 mAh, but I feel like that's too big for your pockets. So this 5,000 mAh version absolutely is the best choice in my opinion. So if you have something that can be charged wireless, I'll definitely go ahead and get one of these. They are so good. I've tried out a lot of different earphones to find out which ones fit me the best. I actually care more about sound quality and not as much about ecosystem, which is the reason that a lot of people choose to go with AirPods. I've had a few AirPods in my time. The first version, then the AirPods Pro, first generation, which I have right here. And I've also had a pair of Gen 3 AirPods, which I've gifted to my brother's girlfriend not that long ago, since she had some pretty horrible knockoff versions. So I just thought she could have those. The first generation AirPods I also don't have anymore, since I kinda dropped one of the earpieces in the toilet and lost the other one a few years ago. Kinda stupid, I know, but what can you do? But what matters is that I've tried them. And the ones I would recommend, and also the ones that I have on me all the time, is this pair of Denon Pearl Pro, and not AirPods. The AirPods does come with a seamless pairing and adjusting for your Apple devices, since it's greatly integrated. They do also have an amazing transparency mode. The sound quality is of course also quite good, but nothing too special. But this is also where the good things about the AirPods Pro end, in my opinion. I can't say if the second generation is better, since I've never tried them, but I'm assuming that it's mostly the same as the first version, with some minor upgrades of course. The reason I use these Denon Pearl Pro as my daily drivers are first of all because they sound absolutely spectacular. They do however not work as great with Apple's ecosystem as the AirPods, but that's to be expected from any third-party devices connected to an Apple device. So you need to download Denon's app to get the most out of them. That's kind of to be expected. In here you can either use the default sound mode, which does sound really good, or you can tune them to your ears, which I've done. There's also EQ settings and a lot of other features which you can fine-tune to your liking. I really like the fact that you have a touch button on either side with 4 different features on either side, which can be configured in the app. So I can turn my music on or off just by touching the right earpiece once. If I hit it twice, I choose the next track. If I hit it 3 times, I then choose the previous track. And if I only hit it twice and hold my hand on it, then it gradually increases the volume. The left earpiece then have some completely different features, like if I hit it once, I can then toggle on or off the social state feature, which is kind of like transparency mode, just not as good as AirPods. If I hit it twice, I can use a voice assistant like Siri. If I then hit it 3 times, then I can switch between ANC, better known as active noise cancellation. And if I then only hit it twice and hold down, I'll then turn the volume down. I also love the more low-key design, whereas the AirPods kind of just shine in people's eyes because they're wide and have a stick pointing down to your mouth, where these Denon earbuds just fit within your ears, so most people don't see that you're wearing anything, which I kind of like. I do think that it's a bit annoying that the case is so big though, especially because I usually just have them in my pocket. Kind of a bummer. The battery life is also okay, 32 hours between the case and earbuds, but it's kinda the same with AirPods, which has around 30 hours. Don't get me wrong, the AirPods are a fine choice, I just prefer these Denon earbuds for my daily use. I actually used to be a bit of a no watch kind of guy. However, last year around January, I decided to go ahead and get myself an Apple Watch. And not just any Apple Watch, but the Ultra version. Super expensive and probably not anything I would buy again anytime soon, or at least that was my mindset about a year ago. But this has without a doubt been one of my best purchases in 2023. Just to clarify, this is the first version and not the second one, which has come out since. The reason I got it was because I decided that I wanted to start running intensively and then run a marathon at the end of the year. It didn't happen because of a lot of other factors I won't go too much into, but to sum it up, I basically chewed on too much last year to actually make it possible for me to train towards running a marathon. But that's life sometimes. However, one day though, I need to make it happen. It'll just happen in a few years, I think. Who knows? I've still used the watch a whole lot for running though, so it's not like I've wasted it completely. Here's some of the main reasons I got the watch. I again needed something with a whole lot of battery, and from what I've experienced, then I only charge it around once every 2 to 3 days, depending on what I use it for. Yes, the battery was a major reason for why I bought it, because I knew I would never charge it every day and then I would just end up throwing it in a drawer somewhere. The second reason was that it should be able to connect to a pair of earphones without my phone near it. It should then be able to use cellular data for music, weather app, and so on. It should also be rugged and not break easily. So these were the reasons for why I chose this model. But to be completely honest, the design is not really something I like the most. I would probably prefer a normal round watch, but it'll do for now. Maybe one day when I can afford a Rolex, it'll be an option, but we'll see. Because it's so big, I often tend to hit edges and some other stuff with it. However, in the year that I've had it, I'm actually surprised that it looks so good still. Because I actually expected it to look awful a year later, but apparently not, which is great. So thumbs up there. I mentioned earlier that I don't really take any photos or shoot any video with my phone, and the reason for that is because I usually always run around with a camera. This is my trusty Sony a7 IV with a Samyang 24mm f2.8 lens attached. Yes, I'm that annoying friend who always has a camera with him everywhere. Deal with it. The camera has a 33 megapixel full frame sensor, so the photos coming from it is absolutely phenomenal. I've had the camera almost since it released, so for about 3 years now, I think. I mostly use it for photo shoots where a bigger lens and a grip is attached, but when I'm not working and just go out on a restaurant or something, I like to take the grip off and throw on a small lens, so it kinda functions as an analog camera. I have considered to buy Fujifilm X100VI, and I still might do that, since it would be a nice adaptation for some everyday photos. To carry the camera around, I've attached a PGY Tech sling strap, which makes it super easy to carry around without any issues. It's also quite nice that you easily are able to detach the sling just by pressing on the latch at the bottom. I often just leave it on all the time, but it's nice to have the ability to detach it if needed. I also always have it on even though I'm using a bigger lens like my Sigma 70 to 200mm f2.8. If you own a camera of any sort, this is an absolutely amazing product that I would highly recommend. Absolute game changer. This next piece of equipment isn't actually a tech product. It is, however, something I have on me all the time and something which is super useful and will still be for a few years still. It is this pop-up card holder, which I got from a local store here in Denmark. In my opinion, this is an absolute must-have since it makes pulling out your card to buy something super easy. There's a lot of products like this out there, but any that has a pop-out feature like this is a great option. I also like that it isn't so chunky in your pockets, which is quite nice. So choose whichever makes you happy. This is just my trusty choice and something I carry with me everywhere. This is pretty much what I carry on me all the time. If you're interested in anything that I've showed in this video, I should have listed them all down in the description, so check there if you are interested. As mentioned earlier, I'll be making some more EDC videos with what I have in my backpack for traveling and also what I take with me on a photo or video shoot for work. So if you like this type of content from me, make sure you're subscribed to my channel. I'll also really appreciate it if you left a like on the video to let me know that this is something you really want to see more of in the future. Other than that, see you in the next one. Oh, I'm out.